Shalom, Holy Blossom. This week, Stats Canada released the statistics from the 2021 census. One significant finding is that more than 1/3 of Canadians do not identify with any religion at all. The proportion of non-religious Canadians has more than doubled in the past 20 years. We are a more secular country. And while Christianity remains the religion of majority in Canada, that's only by 53%. That's a pretty sharp decline, down 14% from 10 years ago and down 24% from 20 years ago. So Canada is less Christian than it used to be. What about the Jews? What about us? For the first time since pre-war years, Jews make less than 1% of the Canadian population. As the number of Canadians grows, our proportion to the total population shrinks. But what about our numbers? Our total numbers seem to be holding steady. Canada hosts the third largest Jewish diaspora community outside of Israel. In fact, if our trajectory continues at this rate, and if France's trajectory continues at its rate, then Canada is poised to become home to the second largest Jewish diaspora community. Next week's Torah portion is Lech Lecha, when God says to Avram, "Come outside, look towards the heavens, and count the stars if you are able to count them. So shall your offspring, so shall your descendants be." And then it is written, "Ve'eman b'Adonai," and Avram then put his faith in God, who reckoned that faith to Abraham's merit. You may recall that the 2016 census made some mistakes in how it was mapped out. It didn't ask about religion. And when it did ask about ethnic origins, it forgot to list Jewish as an option. As you can imagine, Jewish leadership from across the country came forward with suggestions. Those were integrated into the 2021 census. And there it did ask people to identify themselves both as Jews by religion and also to identify themselves as Jews of ethnic origin. Interestingly, for the religion question, you could only give one answer. You could only tick off one box for religious identity. But for ethnic identity, you could check off as many identities as you'd like. So it will be interesting to learn more about how many Canadian Jews see themselves as having more than one ethnic identity above and beyond a Jewish ethnic identity. I think that's a story that is unfolding in our own time, and we need to pay careful attention to it and learn from it. The bottom line is that the Jewish population of Canada is holding steady. The 2021 census shows that Jews by religion are more than 335,000. That's up by 6,000 from 10 years ago. And what about people who identify as having Jewish ethnic origin? That total comes to somewhere between 380 and 390,000. So that's another area of interest for study. Who are those 50,000 people who identify with ethnic Jewish origins but not with Jewish religion? And I would ask, what role do we have to play? Does a congregation like Holy Blossom Temple have to play in helping these people to claim their religious identity if they choose to do so? Sadly, liberal Jews are not doing well on the fertility front, but a congregation like Holy Blossom has a critical role to play in helping people of Jewish origin to attach themselves to the Jewish community, to find meaning in the Jewish calendar of holy days and rituals, to find wisdom in Jewish education and lifelong Jewish learning, to find purpose in the fulfillment of ethical mitzvot, deeds of righteousness and justice. With or without religious practice, of course, a Jew is still a Jew. But we know, studies show, that Jews who identify themselves by religion, in addition to Jewish ethnic identity, have more staying power than those who only identify as having ethnic identity. So with that, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom. May your Shabbat be filled with candles and kiddush, with communal prayer, with Torah learning, with Jewish melody and Jewish memory, so that we may be counted among those who walk in the footsteps of Avraham Avinu, of Abraham our patriarch, who was faithful to God and put his faith also in his descendants who would come to be, L'dor Vador. Shabbat Shalom.